Good morning. Or, well, I guess it's after morning now. I'm a little late for the good morning. But it's a beautiful day. And I just got done with a short bike ride. But anyway. Okay, so here's something. Okay, like the Grimm channel, he says pretty much the same thing. But there's also a famous quote from Thoreau, I think, that he says something that could be interpreted all kinds of ways, I think. That's what's kind of neat about the way he wrote it. But I don't know, maybe you can look that up if you're interested. I don't know. But anyway, to pertain to the idea of he who has everything isn't as rich as he who needs nothing. So, yeah, I think that's pretty true. So, like, today I just had a wonderful bike ride. It really doesn't cost you anything to do that. Yeah, like I bought my bicycle like about probably 14 years ago, and 15 years ago or something. And it only cost like $500. So, like, if you divide that per year, that's like, it's not much. For all the years I've been riding it and enjoying it and getting lots of good exercise. So, and another thing, you don't even need a bicycle. Like, you can just go for a walk. Yesterday I was out for a walk, and like this sandhill crane flew over, and then I'm walking farther down, and this like falcon or hawk or something was circling overhead. It was casting a neat shadow on the ground. And then on my way back on that same walk, there's this dragonfly that was like going along with me, and it was casting a really neat shadow on the ground. It was really, really cool looking. And yeah, you can't buy experiences like that. Like, you just have to go for a lot of walks, and then sometimes stuff like that happens. And same with the clouds. Like, every day the clouds are like beautiful and different. You know, sometimes you'll see some similar types of clouds and stuff, but they're all beautiful and interesting somehow. And earlier this year, there was a viral thing about this rainbow cloud that was really incredible. And one time in my life, I saw these, I think they're called Mammoth clouds or something. They're like really rare, and they look really puffy on the bottom. And I guess it's a rare situation where the clouds sink through the sky or something. I don't know all the details on it, but I've only seen it once in my life. And I remember it was a summer day, and I was living in the house that I grew up in. And when I went out back and saw it, I was like, wow, what is this? And I ran inside and told my parents and my brother they had to come out and look at this, you know. And I got my camera and took pictures of it and stuff. And yeah, everybody was like, wow, you know. It's pretty pretty unusual. And I've not seen that particular situation since. So I've only seen that once my entire life. And then, yeah, when my mom saw it, she was like, she ran in and grabbed her camera too. Yeah, it's pretty hot out there today. But yeah, it's good to get exercise in, take care of your body, take care of yourself. And yeah, I just think it's funny how my mom, often growing up and probably still to this day, says, the rich get rich and the poor get poorer. Like it's a bad thing, like you're being oppressed or something. And then nowadays you still hear like Bill Maher saying how, oh, there shouldn't be billionaires and all this dumb junk. It's like, what's it matter to you how much someone else has? It shouldn't matter to you at all. You should be grateful for everything you have. And so anyway, the way Jesus says it, he says kind of the same thing, except he says it just as a matter of fact, and that's just kind of the way it is that he who can be trusted with a little can be trusted with a lot. Or something to that effect. It's probably a little more nuanced and better than that. But anyway, the simple fact is that people with like a scarcity mindset they're not gonna manage money very well. So like you could take all the money away from all the richest people and give it to all the poorer people, and those richer people will wind up with that money again, most likely. And it's not out of greed or anything, it's just the way human nature is and the way that these different people operate. So I think that's what Jesus was saying there, was that, you know, if you can't manage money or handle money well, then you know, that's just the way that is. I think it also applies to like your health as well. Like if you're eating all the wrong things all the time and not taking care of your health, then you might wind up with bad health. It's also true though that sometimes people can do a really good job of taking care of their health and then still get sick or whatever, you know. But on average, you're going to be better off trying to take care of your health and try to be a good caretaker of your body. And yeah, I've been studying longevity quite a bit and working on it. I don't know everything, but it's pretty amazing all the stuff I've learned. Let's see. Another thing I was just thinking was, I'm jumping all over the place. I got like a bunch of junk written down I'd like to go more in depth on, but I don't know. I need to do more research on some of it, I guess. But one thing is, I was wondering I think there's this part in the Bible where Jesus says that nothing is impossible. And I wonder what like the original text says, and like what, is that really exactly what he was meaning? Or, you know, the real meaning of what was written there? I don't know. That one might be a pretty good translation. Not everything in the Bible is like translated poorly or trying to be misleading or something. But anyway, I was thinking how in relationships nowadays, like if you watch like some of these TikTok videos that go viral where people are complaining about relationships or whatever. And I don't much like complaining, so I generally don't watch that stuff, but sometimes I'll watch a video that's commenting on some of those things because something about it seems interesting or funny or something. But anyway, I was thinking how, and just from watching like couples that seem to be like really close and happy, that they seem to be like in harmony with each other, and they lift each other up towards God and to being better. Whereas like couples that aren't very good, they do the opposite, and they tear each other down and try to be a wedge between you and God, I guess. And so that was one thought about that. Oh yeah, Kaiva. I watch her YouTube channel, and I like how she's always says head, heart, and soul. I think that's pretty good. Another thing I saw on some YouTube thumbnail or something that said seek truth, peace, purity, faith, praise, and then I added gratitude because I thought it was missing from that list. Another thing, like people like to say or think or whatever, is that everyone's equal. In some sense, that's true, but also everyone is different. So everyone's not equal in all areas of life, and I think there's some famous French quote or something from some movie or something, maybe, that says, to say everyone is great is to say that no one is great. So if you exalt everyone, it's like you're exalting no one, basically, you know? And I think I've also heard and seen scriptures that sort of indicate that God sees all sin as equal. So that's kind of interesting. But just because God sees all sin as equal, or just because God sees us all the same or as equal, doesn't mean that there aren't still differences. And so for instance, the differences mean that different people live different lives, and I have noticed that's for sure. Oh my gosh. But anyway, and the consequences of different sins and different actions are different. You know, like, so there are differences, even though some things can be viewed as sort of equal. There's still like definitely differences in various things and activities and whatever. So I don't know what else to say about that, but I could go into a bunch of examples, but I'm not gonna. And I think my last video I said that I grew up sort of poor, but that's not entirely true. I always had everything I needed and always had food to eat. It would have been better if I knew about fasting when I was growing up. It'd be better if I had people giving me an example of fasting, because you're much more healthier if you're not eating all the time. It's just good for your health. You do not need to eat all the time. You do not need snacks all the time. And I've not done a good fast in a little while, though. I've done like a 24-hour fast a few times here lately, but not any like multi-day fasts. Let's see, what else do I have here? I wrote down a lot of junk over the past few days. It looks like I touched on most of it. Oh yeah, here's another thing. I don't want to go into the details on this, but oh my gosh. But anyway, I'll keep it vague. Liking any particular thing, it could be liking, like, okay, let's use this for example, dating preferences. Like some women only like tall guys. Although I've had growing up, I did have a girl say that she wasn't attracted to me because I wasn't tall, and yet she did sleep with multiple boys in high school that were shorter than me. So I don't think that's what it was, but anyway, but that's fine. I think the real thing was that I was always trying to build a real relationship with someone that I could like build a family with, and some people just aren't, and so they feel repelled by people that are trying to do that. So I would say that it's very untrue that opposites attract. Not true. No. And it wouldn't be good for either of you, because you need alignment. Like whatever you're doing, you need to be going in the same direction, or else, you won't have very much closeness or harmony or anything. But anyway, liking, and this applies to like woke people and stuff. So liking whatever category or descriptor, it could be race or ethnicity or height or whatever. Just for being that is as dumb as hating people for just being whatever, I think they're both sides of the same dumb coin. If you're hating on people just because they're some race or because they're short or tall or whatever, then I think that's the same as only liking people because they're this or that. I didn't say that very well, but maybe I'll work on that. And maybe I'll get some help from AI on how to say that better. There's got to be a better way to say that and to write that. And so back to how, if you go on lots of walks, then sometimes like really beautiful and interesting things will happen. The best things in life are free. Like you can't buy the best things in life, That's what I think anyway. I guess I'm more kind of a minimalist Christian of some sort. I definitely don't really feel drawn to any particular religion. I feel repelled by some of them. Like Catholicism kind of repels me due to my experiences with some Catholics, and Uh, but I really like some Catholic people too, so I don't just like or not like people. It's just that, when you've had experiences with various people, see, life's nuanced. I mean, yeah, I just said that you shouldn't like or hate anyone for this or that. And that's true. But you also notice patterns in life, and that's going to affect you, and it's gonna change the way you see things sometimes. And sometimes that's for the better, and maybe sometimes it's for the worse, but I think it's mostly for the better if you're noticing patterns and avoiding certain things. Like, I don't like alcohol. I don't like drinking. I don't like drugs. I don't even drink coffee anymore. I did used to love coffee, and I still love the taste of it, but I have better energy when I'm not drinking coffee. So, like, if you're drinking coffee, you have really good energy after you drink the coffee for a little while, and you get addicted to it, and then you need the coffee just to feel decent. But if you don't drink coffee, you might feel bad for like a week or something. But then after that, you're gonna have like great energy all day long, and it's just way more stable energy, and you'll feel a lot better. But another thing I really did not like growing up was yard sales or garage sales, because my mom would make me and my brother, or sometimes just me, go with her because I was the little brother. So, oh, I hated it. Jeez. Oh gosh, I hated it. I would have rather have like went to a park and went for a walk or something, or you know. That's another great thing about going for walks and parks and things, is like the birds singing and like the animal noises, and there's this little pond with a fountain where I live here that has these frogs in it that you can hear pretty regularly. And earlier this year they were really small, and they're really getting bigger. They're like almost twice as big as they were at the beginning of the year. But yeah, that's something I always hated. It's yard sales and garage sales. I mean, here's the thing. Don't buy a bunch of stuff you don't need. And if you don't need stuff, just give it away. Like, yeah, if shopping is your main source of happiness, then you need to work on that. Like, that's not a good source of happiness. Yeah, pray to Jesus, and he'll give you happiness that doesn't run out. Whereas shopping, it's sort of like coffee. The happiness will run out, and then it becomes a burden. Like, you don't own stuff. Stuff owns you. That's pretty much the truth of that. And let's see what else I have here. Yeah. Another thing I don't like is a lot of the Christian content. They like to talk about how life is like a hardship competition or something, and that hardship gives glory to God and all this junk. I don't believe that at all. There's so much stuff, Christian content, that I think is way off. But I don't really know. I guess, I think there is one truth, but I don't know what it is necessarily. But I definitely disagree with some of the things that people think is the truth. Um, and uh, and another thing is like it's good not to like someone just because they're this or that, or not like someone or something just because it's this or that. But there's nuance to that. Like, it's understandable if you don't want to be, if you're active and you believe that taking care of your body is something that gives glory to God. Like, then it's understandable that you don't want to be with someone that's overweight or something, you know? That would be pretty reasonable. And I got the light set on magenta today. Oh gosh, I've been jumping all around with all my thoughts. I should have made a more focused video on like one of these things instead of talking about all the things, I guess. And also, just because you're not attracted to overweight people or something doesn't mean you're not gonna still be attracted to your wife when she's pregnant or something. I mean, that's just not the same thing at all. And just because you have a kid doesn't mean you have to live the rest of your life overweight either. When I lived in the Chicago suburbs, I would see there's this one lady in particular, but there were a number of ladies that did this. They would have like their exercise outfit on or whatever, and they'd be pushing a baby cart. And the one lady in particular had a twins, so she had two babies in a two baby cart, and it was so neat. And yeah, she ran around there pretty fast. She actually had a good pace for pushing a cart and everything. And there's this YouTuber I watch called The Real Femme Sapien, and she says a lot of good stuff and has a lot of good ideas. And she just had a baby not too long ago, and she was getting kind of overweight a little bit. And now she's fit again, you know? I mean, like, wow. And yeah, it's really impressive to be able to do that, to be able to lose weight, because it's not easy, you know? It does take some discipline and a lot of knowledge about how to do that. But you know, some of the best knowledge actually does come from the Bible, as far as like diet ideas and fasting. It's really good for you. And so yeah, you don't have to be overweight and miserable and stuff, you know. You'll be a lot happier if you go for a walk and put some effort into it and feel a lot better. And yeah, not everybody has to be super skinny or fit or this or that, you know. But everybody should at least put in some effort, such as they can. And I think that's important. So, oh yeah, back to growing up poor. So I didn't really grow up poor. I always had everything I needed. But there was this one time where one of our cars broke down. And I remember it was winter and I was really little kid, like probably 5 years old or something. And it was getting pretty stressful around the house, you know. And then the other car broke down. Oh my gosh. And like times were tight then too. It was around the time that like Reagan he sent out government cheese to all Americans or something. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but it was really good cheese. It was like yellow cheddar, I think maybe. And that was some of the best cheese I've ever ate. And then I started shopping at Costco, and they had these big blocks of Tillamook yellow, like mild cheddar maybe or something. And they tasted almost exactly like that government cheese that the government gave out back then. And yeah, I love that cheese. It's like the best cheeseburger cheese. And the problem with American cheese is it has emulsifiers in it that helps it melt. That's what I've heard anyway. And I've noticed when I eat at Jersey Mike's that if they accidentally put the American cheese on, I always ask for the provolone. I notice that my gut does feel like my body notices it. I think it could be just a placebo effect or something, but I don't think so because how I don't know what the cheese is, but you can kind of tell though. But they're both white, whatever it is, and at Jersey Mike's anyway. But you can tell a bit of a difference. The American cheese definitely melts differently than the provolone, but it also I think it makes your body feel different. And I think the provolone's way healthier for you and way better for you. But they probably have way better profit margins on the American cheese because it's cut with like chemicals to make it melt better, and it probably also makes it cheaper, sort of like fillers or something. And so that's why I say I grew up poor, is because things got really tight. And yeah, at one point my parents didn't have a car to get to work, and so things got pretty stressful and scary for a little kid, you know. And then you can't even do nothing about it, you know. Like you're just totally helpless as a kid, as far as those sorts of things. And but yeah, I don't know why we seemed so poor, even though my dad would work like 7 days a week, and then my mom wanted to go to work. I don't think she actually had to, but she wanted to, is what I think. But here's what I think about that. I think if you're a man or a woman, doesn't matter. If you have the opportunity to stay at home and take care of your family, you should do it. Have some gratitude to be in that position and to be able to do that. That's how I feel about it. I think I just think it's awful to, oh, I want to go to work. Yeah, you've been brainwashed by morons, if that's what you think. If you think your life's not fulfilling because I don't go work for somebody or whatever, I don't know. I don't know. There's more to life than that. And I've also seen religious people point to scriptures about how, you know, you need to be working, or you're not a good Christian, or this or that. And I don't agree with that either. Here's what I think. Okay, so all the technological advances we've had, all the farming advances and food and everything, and if you wanted to, you could just grow a garden or something. And and then there's all kinds of foraging type foods you could eat. Like, I'm a mushroom hunter, so I know about mushrooms a little bit. Mostly just morel mushrooms as far as hunting them. But I like all kinds of mushrooms in general. Like, my favorite sandwich at Shake Shack is the Shroom Stack. It has a big old portobello on top of the hamburger patty. And so anyway, point is that I think we're born into a utopia. But everybody thinks that we're born into slavery, basically, is what it seems like to me. But trust in God and He'll provide everything you need every single day. That's what I think. And you don't need to eat every single day. Like, some days maybe there won't be food, but you don't need to eat every day anyway. And so yeah, I think we're born into an amazing utopia, and people just lack gratitude. And yeah, the news and the social medias and everything, they're always trying to point out all the problems in the world, and it's a new problem every day, you know. And it's like, I think it's all just kind of made up, trying to steal your joy, and trying to put a wedge between you and God, because God is love and joy, and so, you know, you should have some gratitude and get some love and joy. And then people that are like, well, some things need to get done and this and that. And, well, robots are going to be doing those things pretty soon. Robots are already doing a lot of the things. And, yeah, I guess I have a little bit more to say. This is a long video. Oh my gosh. Already at 38 minutes. So another thing I wanted to say, though, was that even though my dad would work like 7 days a week in a foundry, and it seemed like we were poor, or we didn't drive fancy cars or anything like that. I lived in a small house. My little bedroom was kind of like a little jail cell in a way. But it was all right. I had a big imagination, so I had a lot of fun anyway. And anyway, despite all that, my dad and his brother, so my uncle, we would go raccoon hunting in the middle of the night on these like dark winter nights, you know, so many nights. And then I would go to school tired the next day. Oh my gosh. But I don't know how they did it, because they both worked at the foundry. They both worked at that hard foundry every day, 7 days a week a lot of times. And yeah, they would be hunting raccoons all through the night. I'd carry the gun for them. And oh boy, walking all through those woods. And you'd go on the darkest nights, because if the moon was out or it was too bright, then the dog wouldn't chase the raccoon up a tree that didn't have like a hollow in it that it could hide in or something, you know. Otherwise, you couldn't shoot it down out of the tree. And but yeah, we'd be walking through the woods in the middle of the night for hours, and it'd be freezing cold out there. And I mostly enjoyed the walking, and also I really liked our dog. The one of them, anyway, I really liked. He was a really smart dog. And but then that dog, I don't know what happened to it. I don't know. Those guys, they never tell me nothing. So I don't know. I suspect that we were just training that dog, and they gave it to somebody or sold it or something. Because then we got these other two dogs, and they were stupid, and you couldn't teach them to hunt the raccoons. They were really dumb dogs. And I guess that one senator lady would have shot him or something. I don't know. I think you should just let him be a pet for somebody or something. I don't think you need to shoot him, but you know, to each their own. And but yeah, I don't know how they did it, but. But yeah, I would be so tired the next day at school, but I got a lot of good walking exercise, and a little gassy, and so that was really nice. And sometimes we would go on like cloudy nights to where, like I said, the moon wasn't out and it wasn't too bright, but sometimes the clouds would part a little bit, and you'd be able to see the stars in the sky. And because it's so dark out, and you're way out in the woods in the middle of the nowheres, the stars would look amazing. I used to love that, when you could see a little bit patch of the sky and the stars. It was incredible. All right. Remember, Jesus is always with you, and Jesus loves you.